What are your networking tips to fantastic leaders who happen to be introverts? These leaders are excellent and don't have any problems evangelizing their product, rallying their teams, or doing anything related to their teams or product. But they need help when it comes to casual networking or resurrecting relationships with past colleagues. What's your advice?
So I have a few things because you pretty much described 2009 Meg, and it's interesting. I went back to look at some blogs that I had written in that time frame because that was exactly what I was working on in that moment. The recognition that I enjoyed and loved having conversations all day long with people that wanted to ask me things about the product, about the market, about all of those things. That has been true probably since birth. But I really, really did not love the creating new relationships or small talk or any of the other pieces that are traditionally thought of as networking. And I kind of walked an entire arc of putting a lot of pressure on myself and giving myself a whole lot of strong expectations in this. And now with the benefit of a few years between when that happened and where I am today, I have a few points of view that I kind of keep going back to because as I have matured, I still struggle with this in a very big way, but I've kind of learned to lean on some tools. So I will try to share with you some of my tactics. If I'm going to a networking event, an event where you're completely set up that that's the entire purpose of you being there at the beginning of a conference or something where you're supposed to do networking, I deploy a few tactics to help handicap myself on this. Number one, the best one, bring an extrovert with you. The person that loves to go up and say hey to everybody and start the conversation. That is a fantastic weapon if you can get it. Number two, I set my bar very, very low, actually. So I give myself someone or two that I want to meet in an event. And I tell myself if I met one person and had an interesting interaction with them, that was a success. Usually if I set that bar, I not only achieve that, but I usually exceed it. And then I start to feel better about the story I tell myself about how I am as a networker. And then lastly, I try to remind myself that I am my best self when I care about others and I enjoy helping others. And so instead of getting into my own head thinking I have to talk about myself, I let myself be who I am, which is interested and nerdy and eager to have really deep conversations. And I let myself try to find people that are willing to engage at that. And I try to make it about them and not about me.
Yeah, my friends call me the interrogator because I ask so many questions, which can cause people a little pain sometimes, but it weeds them out. And yeah, I think that's to your point.
Tactical advice that I will give to introverts is when you register for an event, reach out to an organizer, introduce yourself as an introvert, and ask them whether or not they would be able to connect you with some people maybe ahead of the event or in the beginning of the event as an organizer, because there's always more chances that that person has more of the relationships with the attendees. What do event organizers want? They want you to come to the event. So how do they bring people to the event? They should have all kinds of strategies for introverts, for extroverts, right? As a good event organizer, you should be asking this question proactively. You should be saying, like, if you don't know anyone who's attending this event, here's a community that you can join online a month before the event where you can start the conversation, right? So that is what you should be doing. Now, strategically, I think that an introvert should read Mel Robbins' wonderful book that is called The Let Them Theory. And the reason that I say that is because a lot of introverts are really shy about being introverts. And the reason that they're shy about this is because it really, really bothers them to be recognized as introverts and then potentially judged as introverts, or maybe interpreted, in a different way, or not interpreted at all. And I think you need to walk in the room with more tools and more power. And the way that you walk in that kind of room with more tools and more power is you let them think what they will think, and you let me, which is you, decide why you are there, and that you sort of recognize the fact that there will always be some people that will look at you and say, well, he's weird. They look at me and say that every day, right? In all kinds of rooms. And that's okay. And that will happen everywhere you go, with your friends, with your family, in all kinds of environments, right? You just have to be okay with it. And I think that reading that specific book is one strategic step that you can take as an introvert.
The one very practical thing that I did, especially early in my career, was that I made sure to have to set aside lunch every day and to have lunch with somebody every single day. And this was really key for me, I think, in terms of building up that kind of deeper social network. And of course, at the time, it was within a company, mostly PeopleSoft, because that was my early career. So I was at PeopleSoft, and I'd have lunch every day, not always with a different person, but a lot of the time with a different person. And what I saw, I saw the effects of that, which were people that, offered me jobs later or connected me to jobs later. People that went to other companies and then connected, you know what I mean? So it was, keeping it kind of close and somewhat easy and enjoyable. That was really fun. Now, it's maybe a little harder now because maybe we're remote, or we're not in the office every day, or we're insanely busy. So maybe you have to pare it down a little bit, and you plan to have lunch with somebody once a week, and make that time, and believe that is just as important as any other project that you're doing that you feel like you have to rush back to your laptop for.